Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for keeping it here. I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do and welcome to the family. Today is quite a chilly day, very cold, but we are surviving through all these guys. That's why I've covered myself like this just to feel a little bit warm. So welcome back to my channel guys. Thank you. So today I want to talk about trusting God, like having our faith in the Lord even when we feel like we are tired and we feel like we cannot continue having faith in God. We should continue trusting in God. This is what I want to talk about because it's very, very vital in our life, very, very important thing in our lives, and we should embrace this as part of us. Because guys, faith in God helps us to trust in Him even more and more and more, which is very, very important, which is so good. And it relieves us from the stress and the pain that we should be feeling from our heart, depending on the things that we are going through in life. Yes, so trusting in God in generally, it's a very, very important thing in our life. I'm looking at let's look at Zachariah and Elizabeth in the Bible, the story of Zachariah and Elizabeth. These guys had stayed for long time in their marriage and they had no kid. They even got old without a baby, guys. But they continued trusting in God. They never lost their faith in God, as in they had chosen to trust in God, to put all their faith in God. And uh, and in their faith, they never shivered, they never doubted. They just knew that God will do something in His own time. Yes, He will. And it's quite interesting how these people trusted God. Guys, these guys, they had gotten married and then stayed for many years in their marriage, no child. They're now old, they're getting old, still no child, but they continued trusting in God. It's something that is difficult to do in our time, but they continued to trust in God. They knew that one day, one time, the Lord will do it. And guys, yes, a day came and the Lord blessed them with a kid. And it was such an interesting moment for them. They were excited. They never lost faith. They never lost trust in God. And they never despaired, which was part something that was very interesting about them. And let's talk also about Hannah. Hannah had even a co-wife, Penina. And the co-wife was like always calling her names, like telling her, "You're barren, you cannot bear kids." So she mocked Hannah so much in her life. But what did Hannah do? She kept on having faith in God. She kept on trusting in God. And guys, let me tell you, it was a very, very difficult moment for Hannah. Very difficult moment. Because she could see the co-wife giving birth to kids, and whenever she wanted to have a kid, she would just get a kid and all that. But Hannah did not even bear not even a single kid. It was very, very painful for her. And then, on top of that, she would be called barren. But she never lost trust in God. She used to cry to God. She used to cry so much until she could look like a drunkard person, like somebody who had taken alcohol. But she looked drunkard because of the pain that was coming from her heart, the pain that could have consumed her. But she chose to continue trusting in God. And she was like, I love Hannah and I love her faith and I love the whatever she was being, because she chose to continue putting all her trust in the Lord. Like she was like, "I'm not giving up, I'm gonna pray until this happens." And that is what she did. She could go in the altar of the Lord and tell God, "Please bless me with a son, bless me with a son, dear Lord." And God did that. When the time came, God blessed Hannah with a son who she named Samuel. And it was a great thing, an interesting part of her life, that she was overjoyed and excited because God had come and answered all her prayers. And guys, let me tell you, she was just blessed with that son. And all her tears that she had been crying for so many years were wiped in just a single day. Because God came through even in her difficult moments. Even when she seemed like she was alone, when she felt like I'm all alone in this world, like no one is listening, she chose to trust in the Lord. She never looked at the negativity that is happening around her, the mockery that was happening around her. She chose not to look at all that, but to look at God, who is above everything, who knows it all, and who was to answer her prayers one day. And she did. He did. God answered her prayers. So Hannah trusted in God, and after trusting in God, something good came out of it. So guys, there's something important about trusting God. Sometimes we may come to a point that we feel like we can no longer trust Him. We feel like our faith in Him is like, we no longer have faith in Him anymore. It's decreasing every time, every moment, because of the situations we face in life, because of the things we go through in this life, because of the pain and the hurtful things we face each day in our lives. And we feel like we cannot continue trusting in God. Sometimes there's some people who will just look at some other side and say, not anymore. We're going to look for a solution somewhere else. But guys, there's no solution anywhere else. The solutions that we got is trusting in the Lord. Guys, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, they were told to worship, to serve other gods, to bow before those gods, the idols and all that. But they said we cannot do that, because they were trusting in the heavenly God. They were trusting in the true God, one and true God. And they said we cannot betray the true God that we serve. We cannot bow before these gods. We cannot serve these other gods. We are going to continue serving the Almighty. And due to that, guys, they were told that they were going to be thrown into the fire. And surprisingly, these guys were like, they were not afraid. They were told, we are going to throw you there, and no God will come there to save you. But these people chose to trust in the Lord. Guys, these people did not even know what was going to happen when they were to be thrown on the fire. Guys, what do you think? What comes to your mind when you think that you're going to be thrown into the fire? Of course, you expect to burn and all that. But they chose to just trust in the Lord. That God, whatever is going to happen, whatever will happen, it is okay. It is okay if they just throw us into the fire. Whatever will happen, what will be, will be. And they never got scared. They were like, it's okay. And this one teaches us something very, very important. That trusting in God, you don't look back. You don't mind what will happen next. You don't care what will happen next. As long as you have trust in God, you just feel you are secured. It just feels so good. Because guys, let me tell you, I want to believe that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were trusted in God so much that they felt that nothing could bring them down. Even the fire, the so-called fire, they knew that this one is not going to be the end of us. As long as we are with God, we are okay. And that's why they agreed. That's why they agreed. Okay. And yes, guys, they were thrown into that fire. And of course, the people that threw them into the fire never expected them to come out of that place alive. They expected that the moment they were thrown into that fire, they were going to burn, and that was going to be the end of them. But something interesting about God, they did not burn. God saved them even in that moment. And it shows that it is very, very important to trust God even in that moment when you feel like you have been, you have been put into a corner, that you've been so much pressed into a corner that you cannot move, when you think that it is your end, when you think that it's now your end, you should keep trusting in God, because He will do something at the end of it. He will come. He comes through. He came through for these guys in a way that no one else expected. And I want to believe even them, maybe they never expected this was not going to happen, but it happened. So trusting in God means that in everything that you go through, no matter how difficult that thing is, it only means that God is there with you. Even when things are going so rough for you, He is there as long as you continue trusting in Him. And it's very, very interesting. I think about this and I'm like, I think this is the best thing to do, to just trust in God regardless of the situations. I want to trust God. And this is the thing that we should keep in our hearts and have this psyche in our hearts, that trusting in God is the best option. I'm also looking at the woman who bled for 12 good years. This woman had bled for 12 good years, and I know she had tried anything possible that she could have done for her to get well, but nothing ever happened. And when Christ was just passing by, I know this woman had so much trust in the Lord that she was like, I'm gonna touch his cloth and I'm gonna be fine. And that is this what woman did, trusting in God and having faith in Him. She just believed that I'm gonna be okay if I do this. If I touch his cloth just a little bit, I will be okay. That is trusting in God and having faith in Him. She believed that when I do this, I will be okay. It is about believing and trusting in God and knowing that even though I am passing through difficult situations, when I have trust in the Almighty, everything gonna fall into place. And it's interesting and it's very, very good, because let me tell you guys, faith in God helps us to trust Him even more, even in difficult moments, even when we feel like we cannot do it anymore. It helps us to overcome and know that I can trust God through this. I know I will go through this because He is with me. When Israelites who wanted to come from Egypt, when Moses was sent there to just bring them out of that captivity and slavery, these people, what they did was trust in God, because it was not an easy task for them to come out of Egypt. It was so hard, but the fact that they trusted in God, God was with them throughout that moment. Even when they came to the Red Sea, I'm imagining at that moment, because as they were going ahead, this is the Red Sea. Water, it's just water all over. There's no way through, and there's people in their back who are coming to take their lives, to destroy them. So there was no way out. But what did these people do? They trusted in God. Because this is a place where you say, like, this is my end. I cannot move away from this. This is where my life ends, or this is where I stop, because there is no way. But then God proves Himself that He is a way maker. That is why He just made a way in the middle of the sea, and the Israelites were able to cross over. It was having trust in God. Even when they reached there, they knew, oh, this is where we have reached. And wherever we are going, it is about God. Because let me tell you guys, just like this incident of the Israelites, wherever God has brought you from, until this moment where you are today, He knows it all. And He knows wherever destinations He wants to take you. Yes, He knows the destination that He wants to take you to. So despite of the difficult times that you are in today, despite the place that you have reached today and you think you cannot move forward, just know that God knows it all. The only thing that you should do is don't lose your trust in God. Just hold it so firm. Just hold it so tight within you. Don't forget, don't lose faith. Continue having faith in Him. Trust Him at every single moment of your life. Even when it seems like nothing is going right. Even when it seems like in your life everything is not right, nothing is working out, just continue trusting in the Lord. You're there, sometimes you're there, maybe probably you have looked for employment for a long time and you're not getting it. Don't lose hope. Just continue trusting in God. You're probably there, you've been sick for so long. You've got a sickness that is bugging you so much, that is draining you so much, and you feel like you are at a tight corner. You feel like you cannot move on. Just trust in God. Probably your marriage is not even working. You feel like it's your end of that marriage. Just don't lose hope in God. Just continue trusting in God. How many times you have been mocked does not really matter. How many times you have been embarrassed does not really matter. How many times you have stumbled and fallen, it does not really matter, because when you trust in God, He knows it all. It is a matter of giving it to Him and telling, God, I just want to give this to all, because God, let me tell you, when you trust in God, He will provide. Yes, when you continue trusting in Him, He will come through. Yes, He will, guys. Even when it seems like He's just quiet. No, He is not. He is there. He is there. He's watching you all you have to do is trust Him. All you have to do is have faith in Him. And sometimes, guys, yes, I know, sometimes it's very hard to do. Because some people, or probably you've counted so many times that you have found difficult situations in your life and you feel like an abandoned child. But He doesn't really abandon us. Let us continue trusting in God. Probably it's not even the first time you have found yourself in a difficult situation. I want you to look back. Look back to that moment you were in a difficult situation and how God came through for you. Because I believe in one way or another, God has come through for you in a very, very big way. And guys, He comes in a way that no one else can do. He's a savior. He comes at that particular moment when you need Him so much. When you don't even expect things like that happening, He just comes through and He rescues you from anything that might be difficult in your life, all the struggles, because trusting in God is a very, very important thing to do. And if you want to know how to trust in God even in difficult times, because don't just trust God in those shallow times when you feel like things that you think that are not difficult and all that. Trust Him even in difficult moments. And the first thing to be able to trust Him is to release your fears to Him. Yes, guys, release your fears to God. Release all that burden to Him. Don't feel like so heavy. Don't have burdens. Just release all to Him. Don't carry so much stress, all those worries and all that. No, just let them be. Leave them to God. Your work and the only thing that you should concentrate on doing is having faith in Him alone. Trusting Him alone, even in difficult moments when it seems, I know sometimes we feel like we get to a corner. We feel like, oh my God, this one is, I cannot do this one. I know I can't pull over. I know I can't get out of this one. I know I can't bring myself out of this situation. It is so hard for me. I cannot bring myself. But guys, let me tell you, yes, you probably cannot bring yourself out of that difficult situation. But then there's someone who can. There's someone who is willing to always bring you out, to stack you out of that situation. And that is the Almighty God. He's always ready. We just have to trust in Him. Because when we trust in God, guys, it shows like we don't really worry so much. It shows that we have hope and we have faith in him, and we know and we have a surety of that he will do something at the end of all this. Because yes guys, he will. Sometimes we feel like he's not doing anything, but there's so much that the Almighty God is doing in our lives. We just have to let go of the strings that we are holding, that are holding us back, to trust in him, and to just trust him. Let me tell you guys, this is always something that I tell myself, that even when I am in difficult situations, even when I'm faced with so many challenges, even when I feel like the world is crowding back on me, like I feel like I cannot move forward, I feel like I'm at the end of myself, of anything, I feel so bad. What I will tell to myself is that I will trust in the Lord. And before I even trust him, I will trust him and trust him again and again. Because guys, that is the only way out. And I realize that when you trust in God, you become stress free. When you have a difficult situation in hand and you choose to put your faith in God, you choose to trust in God, you become stress free. You don't worry about what will happen next. You don't have fears of what will happen in the next minute, or what will happen after this situation. You don't even worry of the consequences of the difficult situation that you're facing at the moment. You just don't mind even the difficult situation itself, because you know that the Almighty is taking care of it. In other words, you just sit there, you relax, like nothing has really happened, because you know that the Lord is taking care of it. Guys, it's just like being in a vehicle. You are not the one who is driving that vehicle. Maybe probably we've got a driver who is driving that vehicle. You're just seated. You do nothing. You're just seated to be taken to your destination, because the driver is the one who is driving. It is the same even in these times, even in this situation. You are in a difficult situation. You are at that difficult moment in your life. You just have to sit down, relax, and put all your trust in God, because he will make everything right. Yes, he will, because that is what he does. He's so much of love. He's so much full of love. He is a merciful God. He's a faithful God. And I love the part where we say that he's a faithful God. Because guys, yes, he is. When you trust in him, at the end of all this situation, you come and realize that he is faithful. And guys, you come to realize, look at it, the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and even Abednego. Trusting in God was not in vain in their life, because God was faithful enough to save them from that fire. Even Daniel, when he was told that he should not be praying 3 times a day and all that, he continued praying and praying. And when he was thrown into the lion's den, he was not, okay, the lions did not even hurt him, not even a little bit. They probably expected that these lions are going to prey on him, and that his life will be, and that like he would probably be normal. But God was faithful, so faithful, that he saved him from the lions. The lions did not really prey on him. It is about God's faithfulness. He's so much of his faithfulness, and he is so much of it, guys. When Israelites were coming from Egypt, the Lord saved them because of his faithfulness. When Hannah was praying and asking for a kid, and she was praying and continued trusting in God, at the end of it all, God blessed him with a son, which he named Samuel. It was about God's faithfulness, even in that situation. God's faithfulness. In other words, God's faithfulness is just too much, guys, to understand. Faithfulness that is too true, very true, because he does, and he promises, and he delivers. So when you trust in God, it can never be in vain, guys. It can never be in vain. There's always something good out of it, even when you are in difficult situations, when you feel like it's your end. When you trust in God, he will come through. And guys, he does it in a very, very positive way. He just comes through because his faithfulness, his mercies are true. So having faith in God is a very, very good thing to do. It's an interesting thing to do. I know sometimes we feel it's hard to do it. But guys, can we always try to have faith in him, have trust in him, give him full control of our life, give him full control of every situation that is happening in our life, because he knows it all. He knows he knows what to do to bring to calm the situation. He knows what to do to bring everything back to normality. I'm looking even at this particular moment where we have been through this pandemic of COVID-19, and it has been a difficult moment for the entire world. Yes, it has been a difficult moment, but we are coming through because we are putting our trust in God. And guys, even in this situation, let us continue trusting in God, because at the end of it, He will still do something. Let us keep our fears away. Let us bring all our fears to God. Let's give him our fears. Let all our worries and all that, and he will calm the situations. He will turn things around and bring everything back to normality, because his faithfulness is true, guys. And not just about this pandemic, even in your life, even in your families, even in your everywhere, wherever you are, whenever you face a challenge and you probably feel you cannot overcome this on your own, just know that there's somebody who is holding your hand. He's just waiting for you to trust in him, and he will make things right. Our God is good, our God is faithful, our God is caring, our God is merciful, and he does a lot for us as his children. And trusting in him is the best thing we can do at this moment and all the days of our life. And not just trusting in him in the difficult moments, even in those situations that we feel like we can do it by ourselves. Let's continue trusting in him even in those situations. Even though sometimes we feel like I can do this, let's continue trusting in him, because guys, even those things that you do and you think you are the one who has done it, it would not have been possible were it not for God. Yes, guys, were it not for God, you will not be able to accomplish the things you are accomplishing today. Were it not for God, you will not have overcome the situations you have overcome today. Were it not for God, you will not have gone that far in your life. So guys, there's always that God in our lives. He's always in our lives. Even when we think he's not around, he is. And he's the one who helps us to overcome, to overcome and to do a lot of stuff. He is there, and he's the one who helps us to do it. So guys, even at this moment and your entire lives, let's continue trusting in God and having faith in him. Because as I have told you, faith in God helps us to trust in God even in difficult moments, even in moments when we feel at our lowest, even at those moments we feel like we cannot do it anymore. Our faith in God will help us to continue trusting in him. And I repeat again, trusting in God is the best thing we can ever do in our lives. Regardless of the situations we are in, let us continue trusting in God. Even though if sometimes we think we have so much strength, let us still continue trusting in God, because he is the only one who can be able to enable us to overcome and to move forward with our lives in a peaceful way. Trusting in God is what is important in our lives, now and even forever. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you would like to share to share with your friends and your family, talk about trust in God, please share this video, subscribe if you haven't, and give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I love you guys.